Hello. This week we are going to enter into Chapter 9. And Chapter 9 is going to give us information about development in plants, where we're going to see the development in trees and how we can actually identify development in trees, and human development, and how in human development, from the zygote, the very first mitose cell, in the preparation of a human being, there are continuous divisions into systems from stem cells. All cells start from stem cells, and then in those divisions, the cells have the knowledge to become other kinds of cells, and the systems begin to integrate, which will develop a human being. And how just magical that seems, that is all done by a plan and a design, so that every person develops in the same way, with the same type of stem cells that then develop into the individual systems that will develop into what we consider the normal human being. In our previous chapter, we learned about cell division, and we learned about mitosis and the cell clock, and how cells continue to multiply by dividing into daughter cells, and how daughter cells continue until a mutation occurs. And there was a great explanation of mutation and how a mutation occurs and how that mutation affects what is the normal development. As a result, we get the abnormal development, or a different kind of development than what we were expecting. And so this is a good continuation of this information. In our meeting on Tuesday, our Zoom meeting on Tuesday, we're going to talk a little bit more about the cell cycle and mutation. And also that chapter ended with the mutation of cells, the proto-oncocells becoming oncocells, the tumor suppressor cells beginning to die away in the mitosis, and as a result, a tumor begins. And that's our evidence, our beginning of cancers. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that. We're also going to talk about this chapter 9 and development, and how awesome the development of a human being is, the development of any kind of an animal. The fact that a plant can tell you how long it has been growing and what the growing seasons were like, just by being able to investigate parts of the stems or parts of the trunks, and be able to evaluate good seasons of growing and bad seasons of growing and rapid seasons of growing. All of this knowledge has been put into our cells through our atoms, through our DNA, through the chromosomes, and this just continues to impress me over and over again about our great designer, about how significant life is, and how cells communicate in order to manufacture what is expected to be the product. The fact that cells don't have to be started, or don't have to be guided, I guess I could say, into their development. They just know the information that they have in their organelles, the information from the DNA and from the chromosomes and our genetic compositions, just makes those cells intellectually aware of what they are supposed to do, and they don't have to be guided or directed. I also wanted to just make a comment about the discussion boards from Chapter 7. Our discussion 5 actually came out of Chapter 7. And as I was reading the questions, I was very, very impressed on the discussion in this particular discussion board. But as I was reading through the questions, I was just thinking how difficult it is sometimes. And we even feel maybe like somehow we're not as strong in our faith as we say we are, we intend to be, when we're trying to look at whether or not our prayers excuse me, are going to be answered by God, and he is going to work a miracle in the situation that we are praying about, or do we have enough faith in the intellect that God has provided in man to expand our knowledge and understanding of the world around us? In particularly, I was thinking about the disease processes and how doctors and researchers and scientists are able to discover how to alter or change some of those abnormalities, and how all of that knowledge comes directly from the ability that God gave us. And sometimes if we lean on medicine or doctors, we somehow feel inadequate in our faith, and that should never be. Because again, all things have come from God, and God has created all things. And so if we are depending on the fact that God has provided for these people the intellect, the ability to learn, the ability to gain the knowledge and adapt the knowledge that they have in order to alter some of these abnormalities in our life around us, that doesn't dent our faith, or that doesn't make us any less faithful. We still understand that God is the designer of all things, that our life is significant because God has purposely, by total intent, put together the information and the communication of that information to be able to be used by mankind. So I can't wait to see you on Tuesday. I will email you the link, because some people are having trouble getting the link out of the curriculum. If you go to conference in Populi, you should be able to open the link right there. It's conference number 2, and you should be able to open that link. But some people are having difficulty with that, so I will send you the link in the email tomorrow so that you can tap in, and hopefully I'll be able to see more of you even on Tuesday at 6 o'clock. Have a good week.